My name is Ines Thomson. I'm a professional photographer.
So, welcome to the Grote Fotografie podcast. That is the big photography podcast in English. And welcome to the MPN live trade show.
Thank you very much.
I'm
for
so
having
sorry
me.
I missed your presentation, but I'm gonna ask everything that I want to know.
Everything
First
that
of
you
all,
want to know.
can you introduce yourself?
Of course, with pleasure. My name is Ines Thomson. I'm a professional photographer and I do portrait photography, people photography, all kinds. I don't take pictures of anything that doesn't talk back to me. So
That's a nice distinction.
Yes.
That is a real nice distinction.
I just really like to work with people, the connection between people, and it's really nice to, to connect. That's what I love. So I'm an ex-photographer, so Fujifilm ex-photographer. I am a Pro Photo ambassador, and yes, I get to travel around the world with my photography. And I do a lot of workshops and keynotes and speeches because I started with AI and photography. So
I saw that on your website. I was like, what the?
crazy, right?
Okay. We will circle back to that because I would like to start at the beginning. When did you start photographing? How did you become a photographer? When did you start? How long are you in business?
You really want to do the whole thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, we'll skip right through it. If it's like 3 years ago, we can do everything. If it's like 30 years ago, which I cannot see because no way that you started like when you were 3. So
Thank you.
let me know.
No, but seriously, yes, my photography journey is not very linear. So I was actually a flight attendant before. I was 23 when I had a brain tumor. So I worked as a flight attendant, but then I couldn't fly anymore. I had a big surgery. And that was the time when I was like, okay, I always wanted to take pictures. I always wanted to have a really good camera. And you think you're gonna do this later. You're gonna do this when you're older. You're gonna do this when you have more time or more money to buy a proper camera. And then you're like, oh, shoot, maybe you
Maybe
never
later,
have that.
maybe later is now.
Maybe later has to be now because maybe later's no later. And as soon as you figure that out when you're very young, then you start living your life differently. And that's what I did. So I started to take pictures with the first camera that I got then. Well, like my mom went to a store with me and she said, you know what? We're going to get this camera. I'm going to sign the contract for you that you can actually start taking your pictures. And before that, I was just with like a small camera, pocket camera. And then I just started to try, I took pictures of kids and friends and it became such a passion that I just didn't want to do anything else anymore. But, I was very sick. It took me 2 years to recover. And in those 2 years, I used the time to actually just focus on photography. I just took pictures everywhere and wherever I could. But then I had to find another job and it was super hard because I was 25. I was a woman, like I could have kids, but no employer wants to have an employee like that, And it was really hard to find a job, but I actually found one, but I hated it.
And what did you become?
It was an office job, but it was only with numbers. I had to deal with numbers the whole day, and I'm an anti-numbers person. So it was super hard for me, but I still did it because I finally had a job. But I was not happy. I was unhappy the whole time, and I had a migraine every day. So 27 days out of 30 days, I had a migraine. So it was horrible. So, then you're like, oh, okay, I survived the brain tumor, but now I feel like that every day. I don't want that. And I went to a really, really good doctor. And he told me, he was a neurologist. And, the downward spiral continued. I had a job that I didn't like. I had a migraine every day. I had to take so much medication, so many pills against my headache that I got a headache from the pills. Then I had to do a withdrawal because I took too many pills, and all of this was just a downward spiral, and the worst.
How did you snap out of that?
Yeah, there was one thing that happened. I had a really bad car accident, and I fell asleep behind the steering wheel
Also,
after taking those strong pills for my migraine. All of those things happen in a very short amount of time. And then I was like, okay, if I'm not gonna change my life now, I'm gonna die. There was no other outcome of that. So I went to this neurologist, and he was really cool. He wrote in a doctor's letter that I have to leave the job, the man that I was with at that time, because he was a narcissist. So it was really like these
You
5
have to quit
years.
your relationship?
The relationship, the job, that's what he wrote in his doctor's letter, you know? And I mean, it was very daring, but I'm so grateful for him. And I was already on the way because, you know, like while I was working this job, I did photo school. And I never wanted to do it. I always wanted to do it, but I always said, you know, I'm not creative enough to do it. And a friend of mine said, you know what, let's just do it. And after the 3rd semester, I had so many jobs that I had to decide if I want to finish the photo school or if I want to do the jobs. So it went really fast because it was my passion. I found my passion, and that was the best thing that could have happened to me. And well, at a certain point, I was like, okay, I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to go fully professional. And can you imagine, from day one of my self-employment on, no more migraine.
headaches?
No more migraine.
You see what photography can do for you?
It saved my life. Photography saved my life, 100%. 100%.
Wow.
And from that day on, everything changed. My whole life changed. Everything. The whole trajectory changed. You know, I found after a while, like I had a lot of really cool jobs. Then I found a social media influencer. I traveled the world with her. During my travels, I met my husband on Aruba, on the island, during Carnival, on his birthday. We stopped the world trip. I stayed with him. So, like, you know, you have to take risks. And if you take risks, you get rewarded for it. And that's what happened. And now we have a 3-year-old son. And we live in Austria. And yeah, I get to travel the world through my photography still.
Wow. I always tell people, you know, I thanks to my camera, I got to places where little people went.
Yes.
I got to so many people, special places. I saw so many special people, all because I picked up a camera one day.
Yes.
But your story, I mean, that's even more touching. I mean, photography literally saved your life.
It did.
Wow.
It did.
Wow.
And you know, like, sometimes when I think about all of this, you know, like this was a very, very short story now, but like
Sorry,
there's-
one moment. Kan jij even naar de DJ lopen en vragen of hij zijn muziek iets zachter zet? Sorry, if you
Yeah,
can put down
I
the music
can
just a
understand.
little bit. Just a
Yeah.
little bit.
It's-
Sorry.
No. Just, you know, like this is the very short version of this story, but so many crazy things happened in between. And if you just know that if you take one step at a time, then you'll succeed. And you just have to start. You know, like I told people on stage too, yes, if you take a step, you might fall. But if you don't take a step, you don't go forward.
Definitely. No, I had a guest earlier on the podcast who said, you know, go out and make bad pictures.
Yes.
Because as soon as you make pictures. If you make bad ones, you try and improve on them.
Exactly.
If you see that they're bad, go make better ones. Try to make better ones. But start taking pictures.
Exactly. You have to make mistakes to evolve, to get better. It's just the way it is.
Do the best you can, but go and do.
Absolutely, because at that point, it's the best that you can do. You always give the best, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Like 10 years later, if I look back at my pictures in the beginning, I'm like, oh my goodness. But on the other hand, I'm so happy I took them because back then, they were amazing for me, you know? And this is so beautiful that you give people the courage and the inspiration to go and take pictures and make mistakes and, you know, like, go out there.
And we're all professional photographers here. So, I mean, for us, for everyone, it's life, but it's also business. How do you find your clients? How do clients find you?
Well, that's a very good question. They're just there.
I don't know. It's like, here they are.
Here they are.
Really?
Yes. You know, I put myself out there, obviously, and this is something that you have to dare to do. Obviously, I mean, I have pink hair. It's not that people don't dare to talk to me because this is a very big door opener. Because
The hair.
100%. A lot of people tell me, you know, you don't have hair.
No.
Doesn't matter.
You see,
But
that's
it's
why I
true.
fail at this. That's why I suck at photography.
You should see
Oh.
my face now. No, but seriously, that makes it a lot easier because like people dare to come up to me to talk to me, and if it's only like, oh, I like your hair, I'm like, thank you, and then you're already in the conversation. And yes, I put myself out there, and it's also something that makes you vulnerable, obviously.
Definitely.
If you stand on a stage and you talk about a topic that is very difficult, let's say it like that, or if you stand on a stage and you talk about your life, and that's what I did. Like when I started photography and I got asked, are you gonna speak on a stage? I said yes. Are you gonna do a workshop? I said yes. There's this yes theory that you always say yes to everything that you get asked. I mean, everything that is not life-threatening, obviously, but I do that, and then I figure out how to do it. And that's what I did from the beginning on. Like if anyone asked me, can you do this shoot? I said yes, 100%. And then I sat all day, all night until I was able to really do it in a really, really good way. And then if you get the chance and you have really good results, then you get booked again. But that's what you need to do.
That's true. That's true. I always say to people, it's not difficult to get booked one time.
Exactly.
The trial is to get asked back.
Exactly.
To get asked the second time.
Yes.
Then they liked what you did, and then you're at least for them you're good or you're good enough.
Exactly. And there's one more thing that is very important with people photography is that you like people. You want to spend time with people. And I really like that. I want to hear their stories. I want to connect with them. I want to spend time with them. And that makes it so much easier. And that's the thing, I want to show people how beautiful they are, but the way I see them. And that's sometimes very interesting and eye-opening for my clients because, we have a lot of people that don't see themselves as pretty or beautiful. And if you can see it as a photographer and you are able to show them their real beauty, then they will recommend you to other people because they're like, oh wow, this was an experience that I had.
Do you shoot for business or businesses, or do you also do private photography?
I do a little private photography, but you can do what I told you right now is you can do on each set. It doesn't matter if it's a kid, if it's a woman, if it's a man, if it's a business, it's a private. It's just
as long as it speaks, right?
Absolutely.
As long as it makes noise, some kind of noise.
No.
noise,
It has
but-
to talk to me.
Oh, talk to you. Okay, so no animals.
No animals.
No animals.
No
Okay.
animals, no small babies. I mean, you know how it is. Like obviously if somebody really, really wants me to do those shoots, I'm still gonna do it. But, I don't do architecture, stuff like that, because I think you're only as good as your passion for something is. And, if, for example, somebody asks me to take pictures of their car, well, I know my car is white. Yeah, white. But I don't know,
And even that was in doubt.
in doubt. And other people are like, I love cars and I love their shape and look how the reflection. And I'm like, okay, I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
And that's why if you're really good at something, you have to have passion for it. That's how it works, in my opinion.
You said in the beginning the AI thing on your website. I saw it and I was like, most of photographers go like, AI is gonna kill my business. I hate it. I don't want to do it. I'm not gonna touch it. And you do,
The exact opposite.
yeah.
Yes.
So tell me.
So, I have a really good friend. I've been working with him for a long time and he's a super techie. He loves all of this. And he sent pictures to me in 2022, AI generated, and I had an absolute panic attack moment. I was like,
Right.
shoot, this is gonna take away my photography, and nobody ever is gonna take away my passion and my photography. So I was like, okay, what can I do? And then I started, looking into it. What is it? What does it? What can it do? What can it do for me? And then, I tried things, and suddenly I'm like, oh, there's actually a business perspective, and it just happened. It happened.
Tell me the perspective. I'm really curious.
So what I do is AI fusion. So I combine real people photography with AI generated backgrounds.
Okay.
So I generate the backdrops including the AI generated model, but then I take it out and I put the real person in. So for example,
you have a picture created, a background with a model,
yes.
completely generated.
Yes.
But then you take out the model
Yes.
and you go like, I put a real person inside.
So there are a few reasons why I do this. So the first thing, why I generated with the person in it. So with the generated person, you can read the light on the person. So that's how I analyze the picture. And then, there's this right to your own picture, to your own portrait. So for example, if a big company generates models, like with the background crop and everything, and they use it commercially, they could get sued for the right of their own picture of the person that looks alike this person that they generated.
Really?
Yeah, it's a gray area. Like
Nobody knows. At this moment, nobody knows what the rights are. I heard this one judge who said, AI generated art cannot be copyrighted.
exactly
Because it's machine generated, and we cannot copyright it in any way, shape, or form.
exactly because the copyright is connected to the person who took the pictures. There was this case with the monkeys.
Yeah.
With the gorillas or something
Yeah.
like that took
Yep.
their own picture, and he didn't get the copyright either. And that's the same with the machines now. But if there's a person on the AI generated pictures that maybe look like you, and you see it and you're like, hey, this is me, because they learn from someone, and then you can actually sue them. We don't know what's going to happen in front of court because nobody did it so far, but actually this is a risk.
Actually, I never even considered that.
But it's
That's real. I mean, if you generate a picture with somebody, especially if you take somebody famous, you
well,
say, okay, this is a generated picture. We didn't take his picture, we generated it, but it looks like him or her, and they go like, no, you cannot do that.
you cannot use it, and especially if it's commercially, like if it's for a small website or for something, nobody is going to take the big step to go sue
No.
you. But if it's for, like if a big company uses them, I mean, they go a step further. H&M now uses the generated AI twins of real models. I don't know if you heard of that. So there are a lot of workarounds, but for us that don't have the money to AI clone, for example, Heidi Klum, I don't know, and pay her for that, because you obviously have to pay her for that, and that's the most logical way to do it. I think that's a really good way to do it. But, for us that we don't have the money or the means for that, I think the AI fusion is the best option, because you don't miss out on the real photography, on the real connection with the people, on the photography itself, on the
And do you
art.
and you create these digital backgrounds with the model? You take out the model, you swap the model for a real model.
Yes.
And do you take the portraits of the people? Do you do that in studio? Do you do that on location? It doesn't matter, or
Well, it does matter now. It's more important than ever to really have really good knowledge about
lighting.
light, about perspective, about everything that you need to know about photography, camera level. All of those things you need to consider. You need to be able to do the compositing after.
Definitely. Do you know Joel Grimes?
No,
Really?
no.
Okay, Joel Grimes is an American photographer who did like 10 years ago already started with, maybe longer, with composites, but real backgrounds. He photographed them and real people.
Wow, really cool.
And I can really advise you, check it out.
I would love that. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was like, for me, I loved composites. So your idea, I really like it.
Yeah, you should really try it. And it's not rocket
Definitely.
science.
No,
If you it was so cool because I was at an event and there was this really cool older guy. He had his 50 years anniversary of his photography company, and he's like, this is like front projection, but I have never heard of that before. It's
this is like.
front projection. It's a front projector.
Oh, a front. No. I know what he means. Yeah. Front projection.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like old. That is like the old school composite before you could before you could do composites. They did this.
They did this.
With a semi-transparent mirror,
Exactly.
with a pearl screen on the background,
I
and they
ordered
projected
this
it.
thing.
Like, really, that is crazy shit.
Yeah, but it's nothing else than that. You know, it's just a new technology.
New technology.
And the same guy said, you know, like they started a conversation, a 30-year-old, a young photographer, and he's like, oh, you cannot do this, and this is not real photography. And then the other guy, like the 50-year anniversary person, he said, you know, I really don't understand how a 30-year-old can reject this new technology. It would have been like me never starting to use digital photography.
That's crazy.
And it was so beautiful for me to see, you know, like I saw it happen in front of my eyes. I'm like, I didn't have to say anything, but those two are like, okay, and you don't see the business perspective in that.
Yeah.
You know?
Because at the end of the day, it is the most beautiful way to make a living.
Absolutely.
For me, it's like heaven every day.
Yes, I love it.
Definitely.
And you know, like this, we can adapt to the new technology, use it, but still stick with what we love. And this is how I do it, and this is how I combine it, and this is how it really works for me. You know, like if you think about the business opportunities, I do fashion shoots in my studio in 2 days, where I have 3 times the sunrise, 3 times the yeah, for real. You know,
Yep.
like you have to have the knowledge as a photographer to set everything, obviously, but you can do it in the studio. And you know, it's funny because like I learned so much about the perfect lighting. You know, I love light. I always loved light, but now I can set it properly. Like in the last 2.5 years, I learned more than the years before because I was always, oh yeah, it's nice, let's leave it like that. But now it has to be on point. So now the knowledge as a photographer is super important, and that's really cool. So I do fashion shoots in 2 days that you would have to travel with 10 people or 10 models and 2, you know, stylists and the makeup artists and, you know, the whole team, for example, to Greece. You know
Yeah.
how much money you save for that?
No, definitely,
And,
no.
you know, like then you have those ESG goals that you have to reach as a company. You know, like you don't have to fly, you don't have to travel, you don't have to pay food for
No,
so
definitely.
many people for so much time. And you can still ask a lot of money as a photographer because, you know, it's going to cost them so much less that you still earn so much more than, you know, because they save so much money. And you can, you know, like if you tell them that they pay like half the price and you still earn so much more, you know what I mean?
Definitely. Wow. Final question. Sorry.
No, please, go
Final
ahead.
question. What is the number one thing you would advise young photographers who are just starting out, young people who have a passion in photography, maybe old people who have a passion in photography, but what would you advise to them, you know, go and do this?
Get started. No, seriously, get started.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's so important. And you know, it's not only for, and that's the thing, it's not only for us as photographers. Time is changing. We are in the middle of the AI age. People think it's coming, but it's the present. It's here.
It's here already.
It's here already, and we're in the middle. So we have to know what's going on. We cannot protect our families. We cannot protect ourselves. We cannot go forward if we don't know what's possible. You know, and I think this is a very, very important message because people think, I don't need that. But what if it's suddenly here? You know, like for example, I work with avatars, you know, like I let my avatar speak. And I tell them, you know, like there's so many people that still transfer money to somewhere because they got an SMS. We would not do that. But obviously I talked to the police because I worked together with them, because I had an exhibition and I invited them, you know, like to just get in touch with people that actually work with those things, with deep things. And they said, you know, they still transfer money because of SMS. But can you imagine what happens if this is not an SMS, but an avatar video of your daughter saying, hey, daddy, I have a problem. Please transfer money to me. I'm there. And it's her video. It's her voice. It's her everything. What are you going to do if you don't even know that this exists? Of course, you're going to transfer the money.
Yeah,
Because it's your
definitely.
daughter. And it's a fight and flight situation. So you are going to lose all the money and it was not even your daughter. You know, and this is like a small step, but this
No, we have to create awareness about that.
we
Definitely.
have to create awareness, and this is what, like, I get goosebumps all over when we talk about this because yes, it's a business perspective, but it's actually very, very important for our society to get the knowledge and the awareness about it. And that's my goal too.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for
you.
being here, and
Of
thank you
course.
for being on the podcast.
Thank you
We'd
very
love to have
much.
you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.